City Buffalo game today, but I will still sit and watch the whole NFL game. I still do find that entertaining, but it doesn't hold water compared to college football still for me.
For me neither. I mean, NFL, it's good. I watched part of that game too, and I don't watch much NFL. I'm probably gonna watch a little bit of this Cowboys game here.
I watch matchups like when it's Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like
but yeah, give me, Bama, Tennessee, Michigan, Penn State, USC, Utah. Yeah, that's the shit I like, man. It's playoffs all the time. It's do or die all the fucking time in college football.
And those types of games happen way more often in college because obviously you're dealing with much more inventory with 30 teams.
That fucking Florida LSU game was good last night. I had that going on one of the screens. That game was, LSU stayed in control, 1 or 2 touchdowns, but Florida would get back within 4 points, and then LSU would score again. Then Florida would score again. It's still a great entertaining game, even though you don't have anything vested in either school. But I tell you what, Florida LSU, that is a beautiful looking football game. Those colors, that match right. That's a good Saturday night right there.
It's always good too when a defender grabs a shoe off of a receiver and throws it for a penalty.
They play some great games, man. Florida LSU. Neither team is going to do anything this year, but they're both above average teams. There's still a lot of talent out there. LSU's receivers look like they were for real, like how highly they were ranked.
Well, that just means more, obviously.
The colors look better than most colors together. They're playing in Florida, so LSU was in white, and Florida was in their in the blue with the white pants.
Wow,
it's good looking. That's a good looking contrast.
I'm bringing you guys this show live from Yonder's driveway.
Oh, nice. What are you staying at Tiffin for? That's a late. Are you driving back tonight still?
No. I'm not going to go till tomorrow night. Probably helping some family.
I got you. Live from Yonder driveway.
No, I'm not helping family at this moment. I'm actually drinking a beer in my car in Yonder's driveway.
Oh, hope you brought a couple.
This podcast.
He's gonna be texting people bring me out a beer, bring me out.
I'll walk in and get it myself. I'll put y'all on mute. I'll put it on mute and walk in there and get it myself. Like
have a pizza delivered to your car.
I went with some Napoli's today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fucking shit. Napoli's is, I don't know. That pizza's fucking mid. Should have got the fold over. Should have got the fold over.
Always good.
But you gotta please everybody.
So that's where you fucked up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Let me holler out to the one viewer on YouTube.
Hopefully it's not the owner of Apple's.
Whoops. How much for your recipe?
We got the recipe. Nick's got the photo recipe.
I know. I'm sure it's very intricate. All right, folks, we are back. We are back again Sunday night, 8:00. You know how we do it. We're going live.
Baby,
Jeff, Sean. Yeah. We got Jeff and Sean in here. Sean's coming to us from a random parking lot in Northwest Ohio.
Back in our hometown, random parking lot.
Well, nobody knows where that's at. As always, folks, we appreciate you. You know, this is the only commercial-free Ohio State podcast / video. So please follow, subscribe, help us out, share it with a friend, family, whatever. Share it with your enemies. I don't care. Keep an eye out. If you subscribe to this channel, you're going to get your daily Buckeye Blitz. 5 to 10 minutes of Ohio State nuggets every day in your face holes. And we want to thank everybody that's supporting the show. We got to give a quick shout out to our girl. She's been legend since day one, Cassie Gray, helping out the show this week big time. We appreciate you, and stick with us as we kind of evolve this thing and get a little bit of the subscription service going and kind of grow this community. We'll keep it tight knit, hopefully. And but thank you, Cassie, for everything you've done for the show.
Cheers to Cassie.
Yep. Oh,
Chef's kiss.
here's to you. Cheers. Little Weller, I hardly know her. Hey, all right. You guys got some bourbon talk you want to dip into before we get into tonight's topics?
Not much talk,
No.
Joe. I'm just sipping on some Basil Hayden. Basil
I got
Hayden rye.
Oh, that rye. How you like that rye?
Smooth. I drink everything on the rocks. So just
I like the
rocks glass is perfect.
I like the regular Basil Hayden's, but I haven't tried the rye.
It's dark. It's like a toasty, but it's mild. It's not real harsh, I guess would be a way to describe it. But
I'm drinking.
It's good. It's good.
I'm drinking a Lining Kugel's Oktoberfest, and I got to say it's pretty delicious.
I think Kugels.
Wow, that's weird.
From
Country's that
Wisconsin. From Wisconsin. From Wisconsin.
Oh, did you get some fine cheese with that?
I don't fuck with that cheese, bro.
Well, Joe, it's too late in the year for the Lining Kugel Summer Shandy, so you had to get the
Who doesn't know that, Jeff? Come on. Wow.
The Summer Shandy is just out of season.
Yeah, I got a summer
You'd
shandy
know,
for
burbs.
you. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we're going to give you our mid-season grades on the Buckeyes, and then we're going to dip into some Iowa pregame, get you fired up for them, and then we're going to talk. What do you guys want to talk? Week 7 first? You want to talk about what just happened across the country?
Do whatever you like.
And I got to shout out my guy, Stephen Cherry. He was the one coming in hot last week with his predictions in the Tennessee-Bama game and the Penn State-Michigan game. So we're going to touch on that for sure.
Yeah, let's revisit the scores.
Yeah. That's right. We hold people accountable here. So what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Penn State-Michigan, Bama-Tennessee, what?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go.
Good answer.
Just go.
Everything.
This was right off the top. Penn State, Michigan. Let's fucking go. You saw it. I saw it.
So Penn State got crushed.
Yep.
And it shouldn't have been close at all. I did not see the first half of the game. I was out working. But when I got home and I saw it was 16-14, I'm like, that's about right. That's, not knowing anything that happened in the game, I thought, yeah, it makes sense. 16-14, it's gonna be a close game. But then I found out that there was 6 plays of offense versus 50 plays of offense. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? How was Penn State in this game? And I quickly found out why they shouldn't.
Well, I think I think you both were a little love fest with Penn State on this. Michigan is fucking good, man. And
I thought Penn State would cover. I thought it would be within 7. Yeah. I would have taken Penn State. Give me the points.
No.
But
I don't think I did.
I didn't. I was surprised at Penn State's defense. Now, is Penn State's run defense, is it fraudulent completely, or is Michigan just better than we all thought they were running the ball? Is it a little bit of both? It's got to be a little bit of both, right?
I think so. I think so, but I'm just telling you, I had like flashbacks and nightmares of them running fucking the ball down their throat the entire game like they did to us last year.
Yeah.
And it's got me a little bit worried.
Yeah, I think you could question their strength of schedule, Penn State that is, as far as a run defense and their stats. Auburn is maybe the best team they played, and they're terrible.
Right.
So they played Purdue, Ohio University.
Purdue is solid.
Not running the ball. They throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they're no threat at the run, right? No threat.
No. So Auburn, they didn't have a threat of any type only scoring 12 points in that game. Central Michigan, Northwestern. So I think Michigan was probably the first decent opposition they faced in all facets.
Well, and I do think that Penn State's secondary is solid, anchored by Porter and a few other dudes. So, I mean, you know, they can probably sell out on the run because they got the dudes that'll man up with you until you play a Michigan or Ohio State. Yeah. And then you got to change your way of thinking because now these are dudes across from you.
Yeah, I think to that point, I think we're seeing the difference in 1, 2, and 3 in the Big Ten. Ohio State being 1, Michigan 2, but there's a gap there, might be slighter, but then there's a gap between Michigan and Penn State. And that gap between Ohio State and Penn State is huge. When you talk entire team, especially, you know, the quarterback limitations on offense, the running game was non-existent.
But their defense, I mean, I was actually in the car for most of that game and listening to a lot of it on the radio, and it was 3 and out, you know, and then finally, what's his name, busts that long run and saves their ass, and then obviously the pick 6. But I mean, it was complete domination from their defense.
Michigan's?
Yeah,
definitely. I agree 100%. But again, you don't have, I mean, their wide receivers are good for Penn State, but Sean Clifford's not going to move the ball with his arm. Again, the big plays, the pick 6 and Clifford's 60-yard rumble down the middle of the field. I mean, take those away and this is a blowout, like a bigger blowout.
And Michigan was awful in the red zone. That was nice to see, though, that they, you know, couldn't punch it in a few times. Because if they would have got those in, it would have been, I mean, it could have been like one of these, you know, 60-7 games.
Right.
Right. That's what I heard from our you know, our famous Michigan friend that we all have. He said it should have been 50. It should have been 51-17 or 51. You know, he's like, we just, you know, had those struggles in the red zone, which you know, even a great team does. You know, even Ohio State struggled in the red zone. No, we don't. It's just, well, we did. We have. No, right. Not this year. We haven't shown it this year, but you know, we've had those stretches where we've had games. It's just frustrating.
We will. There'll be a game like that we will.
Sure. But yeah, I you gotta be impressed, man. If you can put 500 yards rushing against Penn State, that's nobody really does that ever.
What they have for rushing?
Over 500.
No.
Michigan had over 500 yards rushing.
No.
You sure?
I think it was total offense, Jeff.
Okay. Well, they had over 300 rushing.
Oh, easily. It's close to 400.
I think so.
Okay.
Was it?
I'm sorry. Close to 400, not over 5. Yeah, they threw for like 170 or something too.
I thought it'd be just over 3 or whatever, but close to 4. That's fucking up there, man. I mean, 3. You get over 250, you just ran the fuck all over somebody.
All right. Let's call it 418. We had 173 from Donovan Edwards, 166 from Blake Corum. JJ had 57 and some CJ Stokes guy at 22. So 418.
418
on top of JJ's huge passing yards of 145.
Is 418 like a Big Ten or what's the record?
I don't know.
It's the Big Ten you're talking about, right? that record goes back 100 years, and I doubt it.
I know, but still, 418.
It's got to be up there.
418 is a lot, man.
I'll tell you what, though.
I don't ever remember an Ohio State game with 418. It's probably an Army-Navy game with 418.
Yeah, we've had some.
You got to have 2 running backs 300 for that.
Yeah. Well, I know we've had some 300, 320, 330 games, you know, recently. I'd say in the last decade or so. Some of those games with Ezekiel.
I don't want to spend like a half hour on fucking Michigan and Penn State, but one point I do want to make long term is Blake Corum's carries are getting pretty heavy. He had 28 this week. This entire season, he's had, 28, 25, 29, 30, 32, and 1 second. what did I say? 28, 25, 29, 30, 12, 9, and 13 on the first 3 weeks. That's going in reverse order. So he's I don't know. I'd be concerned about getting him beat up. I saw him limping off the field there later in the game. Might want to give that guy a breather.
You get into the mid-20s.
It doesn't matter because I'm on the impression Donovan Edwards is better. Than Blake Corum.
Okay.
He's more explosive. I'm not sure.
Is that you hearing that from your Michigan neighbors up there?
Donovan's a local kid, but I think Donovan's got a game that's pretty sick, and that dude's him and that quarterback are a little bit scary, man. They're good. They're real good.
Okay.
And Corum's a workhorse, and so I don't know if that Edwards could carry that kind of load. I think he would break down. I think Edwards should be a guy getting 17 touches a game, but not 28.
So I agree. I don't think that's good for anybody long term to go 10 games at almost 30 carries a game.
Harbaugh would love to play a game where he has 30 carries and 20 carries amongst his two tailbacks. He would love that game. It's that's going to be upon our defense or whoever's defense down the road to not allow them to be able to do that, run the ball 50 times like that.
Okay.
60 times.
That's good. Let's talk about Bama, Tennessee, because I think that was the highlight of the weekend. I don't want to get too much into Clemson.
Good old Rocky Top.
Yeah. You had everything from wardrobe malfunctions before the game started to goalposts being carried down the streets and thrown into the river in Knockersville. So Tennessee pulls out the who would have known the field goal victory. I thought that at the end of the game, Tennessee was just trying to get it into overtime.
I know.
They did the smart thing.
Going to OT.
They did the smart thing though, and when you got the ball and you have a chance to put the better team away, you got to fucking do it, and they did, man.
I do like that about Heupel. He knows. He's like, we got to go down slinging. We're not gonna.
Okay, guys, but I gotta say, I've never seen a ball with that kind of fucking wobble go through anything. And a 40-yard
ball,
I've never seen a ball travel like that at that
sideways.
No kidding.
Sideways wobbling, but like what?
And
that goes through from 40.
It looked like it was gonna fall like 20 yards short. I'm like, oh.
I told my guy, I was like, oh, it's short. They're like, no, it's good. I'm like, when that duck had to have died, I'm like, that thing was. But it was the weirdest kick I've ever seen. It had like this uniformity in its wobble that kind of kept it afloat. I never seen anything like it.
Hell of a game for Tennessee. You gotta give it to them. They came out slinging.
Yeah.
Heupel was super aggressive.
Big plays. That Bama secondary is soft as fuck.
Yeah, they can be had.
Nick even said it after the game.
Adult Happy Meals filled with cash for everybody.
Yeah, if it works. But yeah, Saban even said that they played soft on defense after the game. The 17 penalties. You believe that? 17 by Bama. Wow.
Yeah, some of those were ugly. Like just.
It's to me, I feel like Bama's still one of the best teams and can beat anybody. No doubt about that. But they're not that much better than anyone else. And I feel like they show some weaknesses.
I think they're definitely not a strong team. I mean,
you don't want to fuck with them like oh Bama, these bitches. No, you don't play that game with Bama.
Right. Yeah, they still have elite athletes. But they don't strike fear into the hearts of other teams like they have in past seasons. Maybe it's just a dip in recruiting or guys just haven't panned out. Bryce Young basically carried that team again, even with a bad arm. He was doing everything he could to keep
the rush off of him. He's, dancing in the backfield, doing jitterbug moves and stuff. And that guy seemed like a one-man gang. The receivers are awful. Those guys can't get open, even against Tennessee defensive backs. I mean, it's fucking Tennessee still.
What about that Hilton's numbers?
Hyatt, the other hotel group.
Hilton. Is that what I called him?
Hilton Garden Inn. Yeah, I love that guy.
I knew it was something in the
Courtyard.
neck of the nape.
Courtyard by Marriott. That dude rocks. Yeah.
But
yeah, he had 5 touchdowns, 200 yards. Yeah, probably.
And on 6 catches. 205 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Right. That points to the Alabama secondary.
Yeah,
they're just huge plays out there.
And you look at Bama. What's Bama's recruiting class has been the last 3 seasons? The guys that are seniors, juniors, and sophomores.
They're always
every
one.
year.
They're So it's not like they've dipped in recruiting. It's just they don't have. Sometimes the years, even though you have the top guys, those top guys aren't as good as the top guys from 5 years ago. I think
they all need to watch out for
the
pimp daddy Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. They're undefeated, and they're going to be in any ball game with any of those teams too.
Well, I think having a running quarterback like Hooker that also has an arm and good receivers keeps any team in a game. If you got that. If you got a loose Hooker running around, anything's possible. Isn't that what Kevin Garnett said? Anything's possible.
That's why I'm worried about Michigan, because that they don't show up much, but that JJ is a loose hooker. He's a slippery
little slimy hooker.
He'll give you 1 or 2 on the ground once in a while. But
I just hope Eichenberg buries his ass.
That's it. We got we have to be on point like there was just attacking the ball when he breaks the pocket, like attack the ball with him.
Hit his fucking ass a couple times. Like, all right, yeah.
But so USC at Utah, you guys got any takes on that one? I watched
that game. I stayed up late, barely. I was fighting that game late in the fourth quarter, but holy shit, Utah. That's the Utah team that they definitely the team we saw last year in the Rose Bowl, just fighting, they got a great I don't know what it is, like a state of mind, like an attitude.
They don't quit.
I don't know. Whittingham's great at installing that we don't give a fuck what the score is. They will keep fighting. Now, usually, they're outmanned a lot because it's Utah still, but they had more fight in them than USC did. USC has the big play potential, man. Like they will hurt you. That's like that Mahomes shit. Give them 30 seconds. That's enough time for them. But Utah has that dog in them. It's good.
They got big play potential too.
They can push up. That quarterback is sneaky, man. Fucking Rising.
Bad Moon Rising.
Dude, when they went for 2, that was some serious stones down there. They could have tied it and go to overtime. He went for 2 in the win at home and said, fuck it, take this L on a bus with you, USC. That was great.
John, what do you think about an Alex Grinch defense allowing 40-plus points?
I never would have thunk it.
That happens the best.
Does it?
I don't, does. But look, they lost the game. That program's trending up in a big, big way. And Utah is finally kind of playing to the standard that they had last year. I think they've had a few hiccups this year, but that's a great game. And I didn't watch much of it, maybe caught glimpses, but everyone that watched it were like, that was like, and obviously most of the people that I know are not super partisan to, Pac-12 football. USC, Utah, they're like, that's a great football game. That was a great game.
It was a great game.
Kind of sad I missed it. But that to me, again, I don't know if it was pre-show or in the beginning, but what makes college so awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so we got a shout out Stephen Cherry last week. Where you at, Stephen Cherry? Get in the chat if you're here. We got to give you props. Although your score prediction for the Tennessee-Bama game was not accurate, you did have Tennessee winning. So good call. You had 34-20. Tennessee over Bama, but you also had Penn State over Michigan 27-24, excuse me. That would have hit the under.
It's always hard to pick that Alabama's going to give up 52. Like that's hard to call.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Bama's going to lose on a field goal. It's going to be like I'll take the over by 30.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But
Well,
let's shake up in the rankings now.
Yeah, we should be getting close to the first CFP poll coming soon, right? When is that?
When is that? Week 8?
What are they up to?
I thought in November, first week in November. That sound right?
That would make a lot more sense. Yeah. It seems too
think
early.
I don't know. A halfway point, it seems all right. I mean, especially after this weekend, you had 2 of the three top 10s knocked out, four top 10s knocked out with Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
but
November 1st will be the first one.
Okay.
So it'll be the 1st, the 8th, 22nd, 29th. Yeah, December 4th will be Selection Sunday. So, all right, let's get into our midseason grades of the Buckeyes, because this is an Ohio State show. So we're going to run through each position group, give you our grades, and then very brief why for. Then we've got to get into this Iowa pregame and get fired up to beat the Hawkeyes. So, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's start with the least important position on the field, quarterback. Let's start with Jeff. What do you got for a grade? We're doing an A through F kind of grading system. So, Jeff, what do you have for the quarterback? This is each position group as a whole. So,
yeah,
you can explain how you graded and why quickly.
I would say A minus, and the only minus would be just the minimal backup, getting playing time to the backups as far as development. I think CJ Stroud's, he's been performing excellently. Just A minus just because of the lack of development from the backups. I think we're just not getting them any play.
I thought I was going to be cruel with an A. I wasn't giving them an A plus, but I was going to give them an A because, I mean, right now Stroud's the hands down favorite to win the Heisman. So he's just doing what he does. I'm with you, Jeff. Like to see a little more, when we get the blowout territory. I just like guys to throw it around a little bit more. Give some of those guys a few more throwing reps. Still game reps and whatnot, and you're in it, but I'd still like to see some more passing downs and stuff.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got an A minus too. For those exact reasons. Let's let Kyle, run the offense, even if it's with the twos.
Right.
Yeah.
So not hand the ball off, 10 times and we go hit the showers. So.
And we all understand why Coach Day's doing it. We all understand why he's doing it, but we just, it's just the frustration of not seeing Kyle show off, kind of. But we know why he's doing it. We're just trying to end games.
You're building a program, not just you're winning a game, and obviously that's the ultimate goal is to go in front of your face. But you're also building a program, and so Stroud's going to be gone. So who's next? And the more they see, the better you can figure it out. And is the next guy up not that good and the guy behind him might be a little better? Let's see a little bit. I'm not saying a bunch and we're going tempo and shit. But give me something.
Yeah, in my opinion, the quarterback position battle for next year starts now.
Should be starting now.
We got under the hood. So,
Devin Brown's gotten in the game. I think 2 games, but he hasn't done anything except turn around and hand off.
Right.
Not even attempting a pass. So, What competition are you really putting between the
And
backup
I
and
think
first
both
string?
those guys, I mean, I'm interested in that competition because both those guys I think are going to be really good.
Sure.
And one of them might transfer if he doesn't win the starting job. So yeah, it's gonna be real important, super important.
Yeah.
Definitely, they're not going to both stick around with Raiola behind them. No, one of them's gone.
Yeah. All right, let's go running back. Jeff, what do you have for the running back position?
I have a B plus,
Okay.
maybe like a solid 88, like a strong 88%. It's in it. Some of it is just the lack of depth is more. It's more of a worry than it is performance based. I think our two running backs that are getting the majority of the shares are performing at an A level, all American level. But we rarely have had both of them at the same game, which it may be by design with the talent we've been playing, and the overall lack of depth. Whereas there's a fear of it catching up to us in a most key moment. So I guess for more of a fear base, I'd drop him down to a B plus.
Yeah. Sean, what do you have?
Yeah, I go a little lower on this. I'm a solid B, an 84, 80, 85-ish. Obviously, they're performing well. Ohio State's rush stats are really good. Again,
Really good.
a lot of that to me is bullshit though, because when your last 14 plays are handoffs, and you're getting all these rush yards and you're getting first downs just because they can't stop you. Our rush yards get inflated, but to me, actually, I gotta say, I expected more like crazy. I don't know, Travion Henderson 2021 highlights. I just feel like I haven't seen a ton of those. I think he just had one of his best games, but I feel like he's a little bit flat, and I'm hoping to me, he was going to be the best guy in a long time. But then Mayan Williams comes on board and is running so freaking hard. So he's certainly a pleasant surprise, and not really a surprise, but he's playing hard right now, and it's nice to watch. And I'm glad if both of them can stay healthy. Dallin Hayden looks okay, but he's a kid yet, and I think right now it's just okay. We need Mayan and Travion, and we need them both. And they both haven't been available for a long time. It's one or the other, or half of this one, and so that's a concern point.
Yeah, I'm the same in that regard. I have a B as well. I think they're doing well, but health is part of it, and I don't think it was in the cards or in the plan for Tony Alford to play a true freshman that just came in June as early as he did, in the first 6 weeks. I don't think that was part of the plan.
Oh, it's zero.
And hats off to Dallin Hayden.
Yeah, he stepped up. But what if he was, what if he fumbled a couple of times or, was basically unplayable? That would be a huge concern.
Right.
Yeah. I think they had a lot of expectations for Evan Pryor. I think he had proved that he deserved
that injury hurt. Field. And then but we'd be turning to TC Caffey at this point. No offense.
I didn't even before TC Caffey ran for that touchdown when he made that spin move, I didn't know TC Caffey was. I did not know that name at all.
Sure.
Now he's my favorite player.
I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
I just bought his jersey. So, all right, let's move to wide receivers. Let's pick this up a little bit. We got like 6 more.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, as a group, Jeff, how do you grade these guys out?
A plus.
Okay. Wow.
You see it. Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna say, we all see it. Enough said.
All right. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, A. The only thing that hasn't been great is the absence of Jackson Smith-Njigba, but
I'm not counting that. I'm not counting against the position group for that. You know what I mean? I'm not discounting that position group.
Like we've noted in a couple games, it's a little strange to see like only 3 or 4 people catching a ball in a whole Ohio State game.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. So I'm a little concerned about, if JSN, what his condition continues to be, if one of these other guys goes out. I mean, and I know some other guys have seen some playing time, but doesn't seem like they're getting a lot.
Yeah, I'm going A- there because of the lack of depth. We're not seeing Jaden Ballard until late third, fourth quarter. So that tells me that some of these guys that have been around for a little while still are not almost game ready, or not like first half, first quarter ready. And that's somewhat concerning to me. I'm not saying that, we have no depth, because obviously we do, but especially when JSN comes back. But I'm kind of concerned I don't know. It just seems like they could be better. There's room for improvement. With most of my grades, I'm looking at it as, is there room for improvement, or is this position like basically topped out? Are they like maxed out in their abilities? So that's why I go A- there. Let's go O-line. Jeff, what do you have for the O-line group as a whole, on the whole?
Just watching game to game, I don't see CJ getting pressured a lot. I don't, I see holes in the run game. You look at the numbers, our average rush, rush per play or per attempt, everything's high. I don't see in health. And all 5 have been pretty much 100% healthy all year. I got to give them an A. I don't, we're not losing games, or we're not struggling in games because of them. We had some penalties early in the season, a couple games where it was sloppy, but I think they're putting on an elite performance.
Let me throw in a comment
week in, week
here.
out. Yeah.
Sorry, we'll jump back to receivers real quick. We got a comment in the chat from my guy Tyler. He says, "I want to see how our wide receivers perform against press man-to-man coverage." So
do I. So do I.
That's a great
would love
point.
to, I want to see a team press man us.
Who's got the team that's going to do that?
Penn State probably.
Penn State will try.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Georgia will.
Michigan, don't they run a little press?
I bet they would mix it in, but I don't know what kind of talent Michigan's back half has. Honestly, I mean, I don't know the personnel, so I don't know if they have the horses.
If you watched last week's game with Gus and Joel, Gus was like, Mike Sandstrow's like their best corner on the team, the converted receiver. I'm like, whoa. This is only his 6th or 7th game at corner in college in the Big Ten. Let's ease up, Gus.
When you're not elite at one position, it's hard to be immediately elite at another position.
He's pretty good though. I watched that kid, and
he's a slot corner though. He's not an outside corner. There's
he makes plays and he hits.
Okay.
Some of the elite defenses in the country are willing to play press man, against a single back, one tight end set. But I'll take any 3 DBs in the country against our top 3 all day long.
Sure.
So we all want to see it. We all want to see our receivers get tested. I just, going into that game, will know I like that matchup. If you're going to do some single man up on Marvin outside and in the slot with Emeka or JSN, go, man, props to you. If you can do it, then you deserve it. Then that's your only chance.
If you can do it 3 across with all your DBs, but no defense that I'm aware of in the country has 3 DBs that can go press man and not get beat.
And consistently, and consistently, like you may get a play or 2, but if you can do that consistently, I don't see a team. I don't see a team that CJ can't find an opening or find a hole, or us not winning one of those battles with one guy to hit that big 60-70 yard play. All
right.
Yeah. So my O-line's, I'll give them an A. They've been doing what I expect them to do.
I mean,
Jeff, hold up. What'd you have, Jeff?
A solid A, because we're not seeing.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing them. They're not hurting us at all.
Okay.
And the stats back it up with what we're trying, how we would judge the O-line.
Okay.
Sacks, hurries, yards per play, all that shit. it looks good. So,
All right.
and we don't see it.
I'm
Looking
going
back.
B for the O-line because Donovan Jackson's been good in his first year starting. He's been a better run blocker than pass blocker. He's not rated very high on PFF in his pass blocking, and it's been a little lacking. So everybody else, I think, is fine. Obviously, Paris Johnson hasn't allowed a sack. So what
Ever.
can you say?
Since he's been here.
Right. So I think the penalties that Dewan kind of put us through in the first few games, hopefully those are gone. But when will those rear their ugly head again is my concern, along with Donovan Jackson's pass blocking. So
He
that's why I
faces an
go
elite
B.
pass rusher, that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's look at tight ends. Jeff, what do you have for the tight end group?
That's a hard position to grade. I think what's been asked of our tight ends is we're probably performing at an A level, because there's a lot more asked in the blocking aspect of it. And if we just look at passive receiving stats, there's no way you can give them an A. But I think the tight ends are doing what the offense needs at a high level. So I go B. I'll go B plus there again.
Okay.
Because I mean, just because our offense is working, it seems like every facet of it is working well and together. And the coaches seem very happy with the tight end performances week in and week out, even though there's not a lot of receiving stats. There's so much of that's blocking and being in position, right? So it's all working. So I don't have much to complain about, you know.
Right.
They're not hurting us.
Yeah. Sean, what do you have for the tight end group?
Oh, high A plus, 97, 98%. I think it's
right. They're doing everything they asked of.
I had very little expectation for it, and Stover's been an absolute beast, blocking, catching, doing everything. So to me, it's much better than anticipated. And yeah, give those guys a big A.
Okay. All right. You guys are sunshine blowers
Slappies,
here
we're
tonight.
slappies. We're
No,
slappies.
you're the sunshine crew blowing sunshine around. I'm going B on the tight end group. I think that they could be better.
Fuck off, man.
All right, man. I
Come
think
on, bro.
The lack of depth is a big issue. I remember hearing all throughout fall camp that Joe Royer was the next big thing. I don't think he's taken a snap.
I've seen this curly hair. I've seen this curly hair out there before shaking it.
Okay.
He's been playing. He's been playing mop up. You know, when Devin Brown and stuff and McCorder in the game in late.
I got Geese Scott catching touchdowns, man.
He caught one. Yes, that's his one catch. I know it's great, and I applaud him for it. But I think all in all, when you just have a Mitch Rossi, who is basically a fullback, H-back, and Cade Stover, and G. Scott barely gets any snaps, I'm kind of concerned about the depth and then the production coming along with that. So that's why I go B.
Right. If Stover goes down, yeah, it's big problems.
Yeah.
Stover's it's big problems. It's a huge drop, I feel.
Yeah. So
because you'll got guys that might be able to block like Rossi, and then you got guys that could catch like Geese Scott, but it's like there's shit at the other skill.
We don't have anybody else with game reps, real game reps.
I don't even know if Geese Scott could chip an end. I don't think his chip would even.
He probably could, but I don't know if he could do it for 70 plays.
I need like 20 pounds on that Geese Scott.
Yeah,
he already gained like 25, but
he's like 240.
He was almost 215, 210 coming in.
Right, but he can carry it. So.
He's gonna be within 4 or 5 year tight ends. It's gonna be a fucking monster by the time he leaves.
Maybe. Let's flip over to the defense. D line. I just lump all these guys together. D tackles, D ends. If you want to, grade them all together or separate, that's fine. Jeff, what do you have for the entire D line?
Cool. So we're looking at run defense plus pass defense. Pass rush.
Edges,
everything.
yeah. D ends, tackles.
I'll go at 82. I got a low B.
B minus, is that what that is?
Low B, yeah. There's too many of those guys with too big a names that I see kind of disappear for quarters at a time. Since we're grading the group as a whole, I mean, there's some great performances. Don't get me wrong. There's some A+ performances, but there's also been some C- performances, I think. I don't know. We get we're achieving the quarterback hurries and the pressures, but we don't have the dominance.
The issue is we're getting the quarterback pressures from the D tackles, not the ends.
That's kind of
supposed to work that way.
That's kind of where I'm talking. Whereas my A+ performances versus my C+ performances. So
yeah,
we'll line them up in it early. Yeah,
B minus.
There you go.
What do you have, Sean, for the D line?
No, yeah. So I didn't know how you were going to break this down, and if it was D tackles, my D tackles are a big A. I think they've overperformed. Hall's just I felt like Hall half dominated that game, and he only had like 10 snaps, something like that. I mean, when he comes in, he balls out.
Right.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, 7 snaps.
I mean, this balls out, and I mean, so to me, the D tackles are shutting it down, and I'm with you. It's like, oh my gosh, why am I not seeing again? I was talking earlier. Why is no one a game wrecker? We've been spoiled, I guess. We've had game wreckers for so long. Bosa brothers, Chase Young, and Zach was supposed to be the next one, and then Tumalo and Jack Sawyer, and they may become that, but they're not game wreckers right now.
Not yet. No.
I'd say the game wrecker on our defense is Tommy Eichenberg and some of that D tackle play, which probably makes Eichenberg better because he's playing right behind those guys. Sure. So I go strong A for the
anchored by the
interior,
D
and I got a C+ B- for the ends. Yeah. They're not awful, but they're just not. I mean, I would expect like huge years from all these guys, just domination, and it's not that.
I agree 100%. I'm with you guys. I'm going B- as well on the D line as a whole. On the whole.
In the hole.
Oh my God, Cassie Gray has an awesome message. I'll get to this comment in a minute. So anyway, D line, I go B-, and obviously, like you guys just said, the D tackles are the strength, especially Michael Hall. I think he's kind of the only D tackle I'm really high on. Teron's had a decent year. He's showed up, yes, and he needs to just be consistent week in and week out. And then on the ends, JT Tuimoloau is getting held like he should file charges. It's so bad. It's virtually assault every snap. So that's an issue we can't control. But on the other side, Zach had his big game a couple of weeks ago where he had a sack, a couple TFLs, and I think he might have had a batted down pass, and he was all over the place and only in like 20 snaps. So I expect Jack has been pretty quiet too. You got to admit that. And JT, those guys need to crank it up another notch or two going into the back half of this season.
Please, for sure.
Yeah. All right, we got to read this. Cassie Gray. She says, if Jeff and Sean are sunshine blowers, then Joe is the Russian judge, LOL. We have the number one offense in college football. I'm flabbergasted at the grades. That's pretty hilarious. We should put that burn that into a piece of wood and hang it on a wall.
Get a t-shirt of that, Joe. Say I'm the Russian judge.
Yeah. Nobody else would get it except for like 4 of us. Then Tyler, my guy Tyler.
People would hate you though. Don't fucking get it.
People would automatically hate you by seeing it.
Yeah, right. Tyler coming in, he says, I give the defensive line an A for how JT is constantly double and sometimes triple teamed. Yeah, that goes right in line with the holding as well. So Understood and noted. Linebackers. Let's go, Jeff. What do you have here?
I think they're playing great. I think they're playing for what the defense needs. So as far as fitting the scheme, I think Knowles is happy. I think he's getting what he wants production wise from them, especially Tommy Eichenberg. He's really highly improved. So I go an A again. I think they're doing what the defense needs and what they're expected of. So a solid A.
Yeah. John?
Agree. I think Tommy Eichenberg might be the best linebacker in the country. The guy reminds me of a little bit smaller Katzenmoyer. The guy reads, make plays. This guy's flying around, making plays. And then the day that Tommy only has 9 tackles, Steel Chambers will show up with 10. And,
and that could just be Tommy taking on more blocks too. Right. I mean, that could just be a simple thing of scheme, whereas one linebacker's taking on shit for the other one. They're both performing great.
And so, I think that's probably, I mean, the D tackle play that linebacker play, it's nice, man. I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, I'm going A on the linebackers as well. I think Steele has a little bit of room for improvement, but overall, they've been strong. And when they've gone with a 3 linebacker set with bringing in Cody Steinman against a run-heavy team, they haven't missed a beat. Cody's super smart and physical. So, yeah, no complaints from the linebacker room. Hopefully, that's enough sunshine blowing for you, Cassie.
Yeah. I think Cody is much better. He looks much more comfortable on the outside, that weak side linebacker, not inside. Like, he was playing some last year. He just looked out of place, playing in that guard center gap.
And the injury didn't help. Let's go safeties. Jeff. The whole safety group, all 3 positions.
There's been a few missed plays that have led to some big plays. But overall pretty solid. Probably B+. And only B+. Only bringing it down from an A is the giving up of a few big plays. I don't know if it was misassignments, but I know Proctor in the Notre Dame game had that big missed tackle that led to that big play.
That was an issue.
Drive. So there's just a couple of those plays where it's one play, but it happens to give up 50, 60 yards or maybe even a score. But overall, they're playing. I mean, I think they're playing solid. They're all making plays, making impact. Lathan Ransom, from McAllister, I think it's fit in well down the list. We play pretty much 4, but with injuries, we played Cam Martinez and some other guys. I think all the guys that have played and filled in have done a great job. But just a couple of them big plays are bringing it down.
Yeah. And you're going to have that with defensive backs, whether it's safeties, corners, or whatever. I know that.
And that's part of the scheme, too. You're leaving guys one-on-one. Right.
What do you think, Sean?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way it's set up in Knowles' defense or whatnot, but I give them a solid B. I think they're playing really well. It seems like there's a lot of guys back there playing, but I'd expect it to be, Ronnie Lott guy back there, Ed Reed guy back there. And I think, I was kind of more expecting that out of Hickman. I think maybe it's because everything doesn't revolve around Hickman and having to make every play like it has the last year. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why, but I just don't feel like I feel like Hickman's playing solid, but I don't feel like he's showing up like all the time like he did last year.
Yeah.
On the tape.
I understand. I would say I give him an A- because I've been pleasantly surprised with Lathan Ransom returning so quickly from the broken leg, and he's become one of the best safeties on the team. Honestly, he had that big pick last game Then he had another huge breakup. Tanner McAllister has been all over the field, switching off of his guy to break up a deep ball against Wisconsin in the end zone. I'm really happy. And Proctor, I know he's not playing as many snaps as he probably would like, but and to Hickman's point, he's the Jordan Fuller. He's the safety net, the angel, that is the last line of defense. So that's his role now,
which means you're not up in the box and you don't get 100 tackles like you did last year.
Exactly.
Because the other 10 guys too are all performing better.
Right.
And Eichenberg's eating up a lot of tackles, whereas last year he was tackling guys 8 yards down the field. Those guys aren't getting
because the front seven missed somebody.
Right. So and plus the position has changed a little bit, whereas he's the deep guy, the preventer from everything. So you're not going to.
You only get that deep set. You only get that deep insight here on the Buckeye Cast, people.
That's what she said. So that's why I go A-. Pleasantly surprised with the safeties. Let's go corners. This will be a little tougher. Jeff, what do you got for the corners?
C-. They're passing, but fuck, come on. Too many big plays. Too many misplayed balls in the air. Too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. C-.
Play the freaking ball. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I'd give them somewhere in there in the C- area, just for everything really. The poor play, the injuries, just all of it. The one, which keeps them passing to me is that you had some young kids step in and were serviceable at the position. So that to me kind of keeps their grade good, where, if Cam Brown and Burke don't look that much better than the guys behind them, so far this year. So to me, we've got guys that have done it, and I hope they get back to their good form.
Yeah.
And I think we got guys that are young that are going to be pretty dang good too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cassie coming in, she agrees corner play is a weakness. Seems to be the only one on the defense for the most part. I mean,
we can agree it's the biggest weakness on the team right now.
It's definitely the biggest weakness. Yeah. I go C- as well on the corners. Play the ball in the air, dude. It's a 50-50 ball. You're in position. There's no reason why it should be completed.
Especially that one. I mean, the one on Cam Brown. It's like, dude, you had all day to turn around. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, sometimes you can't, but there was definitely one where everyone is like, dude, turn around.
Yeah.
The ball is coming.
Yeah. And it's happened to all the corners or both corners. It's not like it's an isolated incident. Getting Jordan Hancock back is going to be really important in the next few weeks. I think he's going to rotate in, and they may sit the starters.
When's the last time he played football? I mean, that's
has not
no.
for Ohio State yet at all.
I know that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't. You think he's gonna finally be healthy and boom, he's in the rotation? I hope it's not that dire.
Well, he's not even practicing 100% yet, so it's going to be weeks. It's not happening this week.
Sean, me and Joe were talking about this a couple days ago, just about his availability and what's really going on with him. I mean, we expect to have him for this, the last run at the end of the year, the higher competition. But if dude hasn't played a college football game prior to getting in those big games at the end of the year, what are we doing? Like, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know. We think these guys, they've seen him perform in practice in spring, or they feel they have a good feel of what he's capable of. But when you're just playing, when you start, when everybody else has played 10 games, you don't just come in and play at that high level immediately. That would be a total shock, like a shockingly surprised to see that out of him at the end of the year. So it's a matter of getting him
mid-season form.
If he's not practicing yet, like Joe says, we can't. If he's not practicing yet, we can't expect him to be a major contributor. He might be able to add some, some breaks for other players.
Still working him in there, but
not he might, but it'd be we can't really depend on him being a rotational corner at this point. If he hasn't practiced yet, the coaches cannot be counting on him. You know what I'm saying?
But he might be that guy. He's a stud too.
They might know he's that guy, but you can't go in. You can't be thinking about him in week 7 being available week 12, 13, 14.
No.
If he hasn't fucking shown you anything, he can't even go full speed in practice. Nobody, coaches are not counting on him right now. They're hoping to have him, but you can't count on him. He has to prove it.
Yeah. Tyler in the chat has a B- for the corners. He says they're on Sunshine. Each throw. The problem is what?
The sunshine blower.
No, that was Cassie. Tyler has a B- for the corners because the problem is they don't look for the ball at the last second. They play the receiver, not the ball. Then Cassie coming in, she says, I wonder if the corner play could be a result of changing coaches and techniques from Combs to Walton. The corners seem to be unsure and unsettled. That could be a legit problem. Yeah.
I don't know. They played like shit under Combs.
They definitely played the receiver.
We're a lot better. We're a lot better now than under Combs.
As a whole, yeah. I wouldn't say that the corners are. They seem to be the same.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much improvement from last year. That's why I guess I'd put it that way. Like the corner play from last year, I'm not seeing much improvement. And the one guy that did show out the most last year has regressed. He hasn't shown any improvement. Denzel. So overall, we may have improved as a team in corner play, but our best player last year, who, it's like being the best, like the valedictorian of summer school, he has not progressed at all to this year.
So let's go quick answers. This is one quick answer. Special teams, Jeff.
I think one missed field goal this year. Yeah. Hey.
What about the fumbled punts? Fumbled punt.
Yeah, I'm thinking of all special teams. B, low B. 84%.
Sean, you got B?
D.
Okay.
D.
D. Oh, yeah. All right.
D.
How do we judge that? I mean, if you have to go back,
I'm judging it by our special teams. Yeah, we're making field goals that we should. We're not banging home 57-yarders for game winners. So I don't really give a shit about that.
Nor are we asking them to either. We're not.
But we don't we kick the ball out of bounds sometimes.
Yes.
We
that's
fucking don't return anything. We allow some bigger returns. We fumble. Fucking. It needs cleaned up. It needs to be better.
Yeah. Tyler's got a D- for special teams. I'm going C-. The one upside is Jesse Micro, the punter, or Mirko.
I'll give you that.
I just like fucking with his name. But yeah, he's been dropping, shit inside the 10 consistently.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
But you can't have the fucking fumbles on.
He's the only thing that keeps him from a fail. He's the only thing that keeps him from a fail.
Exactly.
The kickoff out of bounds. Never with the way the rules are today's football, you should never kick the ball out of bounds, because all you do is, if you kick it deep, they're not going to return it.
But when you score a lot, you kick off a lot.
That's something that.
So is your leg fucking tired? Come on.
Well, I mean that's just something though that you can't give away. Given that field position, that's 15, 20 yards of field position you're just handing to them.
Yeah,
that can catch up with you if you do that in a wrong moment against the wrong team.
Yeah,
give them that extra yardage. That's just something that's easily fixable.
It's for real.
Don't aim between the hashes. Don't you ever aim outside the hash.
Tyler throws in the penalties on special teams as well. Good point.
Sure. Yeah, the punt return for a touchdown that was called back.
Right.
I guess if you sit there and you think about every facet of the special teams, we've had a lot of breakdowns. Nothing that hurt us that well or hurt us that much in any game, but
it needs to be cleaned up.
Against better competition, we can you can lose that game against
I
Michigan.
feel like we're lazy. We're lazy with it. It's just like, no, it needs to be focused on.
Yeah, it's field position, man. That's a big deal. So let's get into this Iowa pregame. Let's get fired up to beat the Hawkeyes. Not a real thing, by the way, the Hawkeye. It's just like a book, or was it the author of a book? Or I think it was just a novel.
Excuse me?
Hawkeye was a character in the book, in the novel. So
No.
not a real thing. Anyway, this is a team in the Big Ten coming in noon into Ohio Stadium. This is the big noon kickoff, of course. So Kirk Ferentz in his 24th year. Wow. Can't say that too often nowadays. 3-3 thus far this year, 1-2 in the Big Ten. Quick takes on Ferentz.
My first quick take, he's got 7 years left on this fucking contract.
Yeah.
That dude is the godfather.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Their 2022 recruiting class was 30th in the country, number 6 in the Big Ten. I like to throw that in there just to kind of get a gauge for where they're recruiting. It seems pretty high.
That's about what you would expect. That's about what you expect. 6th in the Big Ten. That's about
30th nationally, though. That seems kind of high.
That does seem kind of high. 6th, yeah, 30th nationally it seems high, but 6th in the Big Ten sounds about right. A better class than the bottom feeders, but still Iowa State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, getting ahead of them.
Yeah. So 29th ranked strength of schedule. So they've been playing a tough strength of schedule too. So let's start with their offense. It's tough. This is a tough discussion.
Do we have to? Well, go ahead and go.
It's going to be fast. All right. No passing game. We're talking about no pass protection. We're talking about they like to run the ball 46% of the time, 54% of the time they pass. Spencer, do you guys want me to keep saying Pederass, or should I pronounce it right?
We're enough with the Pederass.
Enough with the Pederass.
Guy's got a funny name and he's not good at quarterback.
Spencer Petras, the 6'5" senior. This guy, his passer rating under pressure is 24%. That's under pressure, not under blitz. So with a front four pressure, he has a 24% completion percentage. His overall passer rating on PFF 64.
Which isn't good.
His completion percentage on the season, 53.7. 53 is just over half.
Which isn't good. To the layman, that's not good.
No, 932 yards through 7 games. That's a 5.8 yard average. That'd be good for a running back. Not so good as a quarterback. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, even worse. Wide receivers are trash. One good receiver transferred to Purdue, and he's blowing up. Had a hell of a game the other night against Nebraska. A little white guy.
Sure he did.
Running backs are bad. LaShawn Williams, Caleb Johnson, Gavin Williams. These guys combined put up about 600 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Good job. Tight end, typically the strong suit of an Iowa offense. Sam Laporta, the 6'4", 250 guy, has 30 catches, 270 yards, 9-yard average, no touchdowns.
And that dude seems like he's been there 10 years. It's just one of those names. But probably their best weapon, though. Their best offensive player, I would guess.
But Luke Lachey, son of Buckeye legend Jim Lachey, from Columbus, 9 catches, 157 yards for a nice 17-yard average, and 1 touchdown. At least he's gotten in the paint.
Just got that, I think, this past week, I believe.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, because they were the pregame. I was listening to the pregame on the radio, the Buckeye game, and on my way home, and I heard that Paul Keeler said, "Jim, I'm sure you're proud of your son today, getting his first touchdown reception." He just got that. I think a week or 2 ago.
Oh, the chat's getting funny. Cassie says, I'm giving Jesse an A for running for the first down against Rutgers.
yeah.
She's talking about Jesse Mirko, obviously the punter. That is a legit point, and that's probably why I gave him a little bit better grade. And then Cassie says, "Does Iowa have an offense?" Tyler says, "What offense?" Stephen Cherry coming in. Finally, where you been? Let's not underestimate anyone. Let's hang 60 on Iowa because last time we played, they hung 56 on us. Excellent point.
True. One of the ugliest games we ever played offensively.
Yeah. So back to this breakdown. O-line sucks for them. I won't get into it too deeply. I was just looking at their PFF grades. Nobody is above 61. That's out of 100, folks.
Yikes.
So everybody gets D minuses, or those might be F pluses. I don't know.
Is there a curve?
Yeah. Is there anything on offense that you guys really, anybody that jumps out at you?
No, nothing.
Okay.
This is the worst
Answer.
offense that might have ever existed. This is like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. I mean,
I
watching
think-
those games is bad.
As of a week or two ago, their offense was 130th in yards per play.
Oh.
And that was like 2 weeks ago. I heard.
And
that.
they don't give up any yards per play. So I mean, the game is just. I mean, talk about a grind.
Yeah, I think we'll get to the scores in a minute, but no, there's nothing to talk about. Their offense is fucking trash. If their offense drives the ball down the field on us and scores, that should raise some eyebrows. You know what I mean?
And you know that Brian Ferentz has a fucking job for life. His dad is not going to fire him, obviously. He should have by now, over and over.
Well, I heard that the athletic director actually has that power over the coordinators, not the head coach. But
Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz pretty much got the athletic director his job. So who's really in charge of who? The guy's point that was explaining that was, Brian Ferentz isn't going anywhere unless he wants to.
Yeah, unless you want Kirk Ferentz to leave as well. So it's kind of like a handcuff deal. So
yeah, and I was not
gonna
finding
happen.
something better. They're not finding something better than Kirk Ferentz.
No.
So that's why he still has 7 years left on a contract that's like
Right.
7-8 million a year or something.
Yeah, I do want to touch on the Iowa defense because this is actually the bright spot. I am going to blow some sunshine here, Cassie. 37th against the run. They allow 126 a game, but 8th against the pass. This is in the country. They only allow 167 through the air. They are third in opponent yards per play at 4.0. That's third in the country. The Big Ten has 3 of the top 5. Illinois, Michigan, Iowa are the top 3 in the country at yards per play.
Is that not an indictment of the offenses that these teams in the Big Ten are playing against?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
And, right.
With Michigan, you can definitely say that. I guess you could say that about Iowa and Illinois to some degree, but still, they're playing Power 5 colleges. Michigan, mostly not.
Yeah, true. But they're playing anemic offenses like Wisconsin and Northwestern.
Right. But they're also third in opponent points per game, allowing 11.2 points per game. Again, they're in the top 5. The top 5 in points per game are Illinois. Again, Illinois, number 1 in the country. Who knew? Georgia, Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan. They do have the best linebacking core in the country, in my opinion. And they got some playmakers outside at corner. Corner is probably their bright spot.
You think Iowa's linebackers are the best group in the country?
I would put them up there.
You're saying that
in
today?
the top 5, yeah. I haven't watched every linebacking core, but they're really freaking good, led by Captain Jack Sparrow or Jack Campbell. Sorry.
Yeah, dude came back for his final year.
He's a stud.
He's like a 4-year starter.
He's about to get worked.
Yeah. His D line in front of him is garbage.
He will face his toughest test for sure.
Yeah, their D line is garbage, especially their D ends. They're not going to get much of a pass rush without blitzing. Again, the secondary, though, is one of the best in the country, in my opinion, at all positions, safeties, corners, everything. These guys are solid all the way around. That's why they only allow 167 yards passing a game, you know.
Oh yeah, they got that other white dude in the secondary, Riley.
Yeah,
Riley, somebody, right?
No, that ain't
Long hair, white.
They're
Dude.
bums. They're bums. They're
They're
about to get
bums.
exposed.
But Sean, you do agree that this is our toughest defense yet that we've played against. Correct?
Riley Moss, you're talking about. He's actually
Riley Moss. There you go.
not the highest rated corner they have.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
okay. These guys are gritty. They play.
I think they're the best defense we've seen.
They're going to play you tough. They're going to hit you hard. They're going to play you tough. But it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. The depth isn't there. The speed isn't there. I don't feel, and it isn't going to be enough.
You don't think a scheme is going to get us?
I don't.
All right.
The scheme will help, but I think it'll get out of hand.
Okay.
You're right.
Stephen Cherry disagrees as well. He says, he doesn't think that they're the best unit in the country. I didn't say best. I say one of the best.
You said the best.
I said the best.
You did.
Jeff, rewind the tape, play it back.
You said this is the best unit in the country, in my opinion. I think it's a quote.
Yeah, this is the best unit in the country, in my opinion. And I asked you to verify the linebacking core at Iowa is the best linebacker group in the country. You said
Busted
right.
on.
they got led by fucking Captain Jack Sparrow. So
That doesn't sound like my voice. I don't think you said that.
I threw the red flag, just like that.
All right,
I threw
fine.
the red flag we reviewed.
Not the best linebacker unit in the country.
About
Everybody
fucking
happy?
time.
All right.
But I'll do a
Stephen
side
Cherry, just for that, I'm going to tell you that JSN is playing this week. What do you guys think?
When did you
I
hear
said,
that?
yeah,
He was asking.
I agree. I think he is. I think the coaches have. I think Randay's tap danced around it long enough. He's been kind of aiming towards this game as far as a return for him. So yeah, I expect JSN to be dressed. Now whether he gets a full workload, just starting lineup, playing 90% of the reps, I don't know, but I think JSN is dressed and on the field for this game. Yes.
All right. Let's get into our score predictions.
Barring some setback from last week till then, you know what I mean. But like, if nothing goes on this week that they're off, we should expect them to be back because that's what we've been led to think.
Right. All right, let's get into our score predictions here for the Hawkeye game. Buckeyes.
Spread, Joe.
I have them at 29, over under of 49.
So they think that we might get a 50-20 game. Is that what that's telling me?
That
There's
seems
no way
excessive
Iowa-
for that Iowa offense.
There's no way Iowa's scoring 20 points against us. I would be willing to bet a lot of stuff that Iowa can't score 20. I say we cover at home on a big noon Saturday. We cover by 30, so that puts a score at 41 to 5. I think Iowa does some dumb shit and they get 5. Somehow they get 2 field goals. They get 2 field goals and we take away a point because they're so shitty. At 41-5.
Stephen Cherry, I already got your score, man. You gave it to us last week. It was 48-10. Now he's bumping it up a touchdown. He's going 56-10. Cassie Gray also 56-10. Maniacs.
I think if they score on defense. I don't see their offense. Literally, their offense, unless we give them the ball like on a fumbled punt again, something like that, where they give them the ball at the 5 or the 10. I don't see that offense going down the field on us at all. Big plays, nothing. No broken assignments. I don't think they have a guy that can take advantage of a broken assignment.
I don't know.
But I mean, that score could be 4, 5, 6, or 7, and none of it meaning a touchdown.
Yeah, Sean, what do you got?
I'm in the same neck of the woods. I got 42-10.
42-10. Wow.
How do you think they
you
score,
guys
Sean?
expect these guys to freaking score? I don't get it.
So I think the cover and the over.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I'll take the cover and the over as well. Yeah.
Tyler's got 56-3. I'm going that direction. I'm going 52-0. This is a shutout. This offense is pathetic, garbage, trash. We need a shutout. This is the week we get it. I don't know another week that we might get it, honestly.
I don't think we're getting a shutout. We don't get shutouts. It's not what we
maybe
do.
Northwestern, yeah, but
you're right, because we go base defense and play a bunch of freshmen, and when people still have their fucking starters out there.
Right.
All right, so spread. You said spread's 30, over unders 50, 49.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we see, maybe I'll take 2 field goals at the most. But if we give up a touchdown to Iowa, it's got to be
giving up a touchdown. We're giving up a touchdown. PI first and goal from the what the fuck ever. And
it could be.
You're fucking in. Whatever.
All right. Well, I'm marking down all these score predictions from everybody in the chat. Everything. I'm noting this. We're going to bring it up next week and see who was right and wrong.
I know their deal shut our ass down. It'll be 24-17. We'll shit ourselves.
But I just want to be able to move. I want to annihilate that Iowa defense. I just want the country to see what we did to Iowa's defense.
I just want to impose our will. Whatever
I
I want to run on them. I want to pass on them. I just want the Buckeyes to be the Buckeyes and do what we do.
Yeah, I'm talking like 550 total offense. I don't give a fuck if it's 250, 300, or 350, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's not have 200 plus rushing, have maybe 300 plus passing, doing what we want, scoring 40 plus 50 points. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into our microscopes here. Let's start with Sean. Sean, who do you have on offense and defense?
On offense and defense. So on offense, I'm going to go with JSN. I want to see. I think this, you've had the week off, kind of come back, this and that. I know hammies can linger, but it's starting to me to be a concern. And I really want to see if he's out there, what he's doing. Is he going full go? Is he going to participate this year? He should, man. I think this is lining up to be a pretty good year. But so just want to see if he gets out there and what he does. And maybe they ease him into it. We'll see. But that's my guy on offense. On defense, let me throw out Tumalo, I guess. I just want some more production out of the DNs. So it could be really any of that group, but I'll pick on JT. I want to see a dominant game wrecker type of guy. We're supposed to have a bunch of game wreckers at the ends position, and we don't. They're good. They're solid. But they're not game wreckers like Bosa's and Young's and that. And I feel like, man, there's too much talent out there not to be. I just not sure what's going on exactly there. So I'm going to take JT. Got my eye on him.
Gotcha. Jeff, what do you got? Offense, defense.
I think where we left off before the break, I think I was saying Trey Henderson. You're going to be in my microscope so I can see you finish the game strong. I'm still waiting for Trey Henderson to finish the game strong. Obviously Sean took the most glaring microscope is what JSN is going to be capable of, but reassert yourself as an All-American running back, Trey. Defense, Sean wants to take one side, I'll take the other. Zach Harrison, impact this game. Defend that run, but you're going to, like you said, what 53% or 54% they want to pass versus 46 run.
They're going to be behind, so
right. But I could picture them running 3, and I don't think them being down or up changes what they do on offense. Honestly, I think it's just going to be a lot of opportunities for that D line to make put up some big numbers. So Zach Harrison put up some stats.
Yeah, who'd you have on offense?
Trey Henderson, the guy I keep wanting to finish the game.
Yeah. All right. I'm going route man Marv. I'm going Marvin Harrison. I think this is a big game for him. JSN coming back is not going to affect Marv's snaps. He's still going to get the same number out there.
Yeah, target,
And-
snaps, all that shit. None of that will
Yeah.
change for him.
Exactly. It may affect Mecca and Julian, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see.
This is a secondary. Those guys can really make a name for themselves. You know,
Right.
they're going up some of the best talent they've run up against. So
That's
it will
true.
be big for all of them.
Right. Now on defense, I'm going Proctor. I'm hoping he gets the start, and he's going to be huge in coverage, especially against those tight ends. So that is their strongest offensive group, the tight end unit. So let's go Proctor and let's lay the wood to some boys. Let's not give up big plays. Because coming down the seam is where those plays could happen. I don't think much is going to happen on the outside.
And it seems like Proctor's almost split in time with Ransom at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're both healthy, but it's hard to say, because there's been games where both of them were unavailable. So
Yeah.
It seems like McAllister and Hickman are kind of solidified at their spots.
Right.
Is that how you see it? With Proctor
For the
and
most part, yeah.
Ransom?
Yeah, McAllister definitely is. Cam Martinez is backing him up. So yeah, and Hickman definitely is at the free safety. So we do have a couple of microscopes here coming in. Stephen Cherry on offense has Cade Stover. Oh, interesting. So fight the Iowa defense with tight ends.
It'd be nice to stuff the tight end up Iowa's ass one time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've taken
blow
our
your
share,
tight end
right?
up against tight end you, right?
Yeah. And then on defense, Stephen Cherry has Chambers. So I like that. Should be some action for Steele. Cassie has Jim Knowles on defense. I'm not sure he's playing, Cassie. If he's suiting up, we might be in big freaking trouble.
He's getting up there. He's a little frail.
But I like the thought. I like the thought because he probably is the MVP on defense.
Forget the microscope. Get the ambulance ready if he's out there playing defense.
Right. Then on offense, she also has Harrison. So great minds think alike, and we have a symbiotic relationship going on here tonight.
To me, the biggest thing with this game, real quick, is that I think we just coming off the bye week, and to me, this is what's gonna be the energy and tone of this team? Is it gonna come out and be like, hey, we're still the fucking guys, and we're still about to do what we're trying to do here, or are they gonna get like kind of lazy and into that mid-season, like, hey, let's go out here and run our fucking routes and shit against Iowa?
I want them like that sleepy noon game that we've
Right.
known to
We
play
run into
sometimes.
that a lot.
Yeah,
whatever happens, let's be dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to see the crispness, on offense, and just we want to. They got to come out with the right intensity to make that statement.
That's going to be the biggest thing on this game. I don't think this game is going to be in question, but
they have no offense that can threaten us. They can't. I mean, we can't. A shootout will not happen. We know that, right? I mean, It's like we're not worried about them. If we get into some high scoring game, how do we play that?
They scored like 40 something on us a few years ago.
56 actually.
The roster
56.
on that Iowa team and the roster on our team right now, those two rosters will not allow for them to score 55 points or 56 points.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if Stroud does throw a pick six in the first quarter like JT did. Even that we'll overcome.
Got a couple
Look at
comments.
Michigan State last week.
Tyler says their offensive linemen are garbage, and we're going to create a lot of pressure. So probably works in our favor with the defensive ends. Yeah.
I mean, the end set, we put up a lot of stats this game. I think we should expect it.
Steven says Lathan Ransom is an impact player and should start. So we'll see.
Joe, you're a little partial to Proctor?
I kind of am because of his size and durability. Lathan's a little smaller, shorter, but Lathan's done well in coverage, so I can't complain if we're going to run him out there in coverage.
The thing is, though, we all have confidence in both of those guys, right? No matter which one's on the field, we don't feel that. Oh shit! I hope they don't expose him.
Yeah, I'm 100% confident.
Yeah. I think Latham has made they both made big plays, but I think Latham has more of that spectacular in maybe.
Yeah.
The potential for spectacular.
Mhm.
But I mean, they both tackle, they both do everything. Completely confident in either one.
Yeah. Steven says, I think we sent a message to Michigan that we still run this shit and come out swinging and curb stomp Iowa.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's we got.
I'm on board with that. Yeah,
that would be that.
Yeah.
That's the message that needs to be sent.
Right. All right. Anything else? I'm sorry. We have on offense microscope. We have from Tyler, Julian Fleming.
I'm always rooting for Julian Fleming. Every week
I almost took him actually.
I think he's gonna keep shining, and he's gonna keep like blowing people up. He's gonna catch the ball, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I got to tackle this dude."
Yeah.
This dude, it's a horse, and he's fast.
The thing is, we have so much confidence in the passing of CJ. Whichever one of those guys is open on whichever play, they're going to get fed. Whether it's JSN coming back, Emeka, Julian, or Marv.
Mm-hmm.
We have confidence that CJ will find the one that's got that best matchup or whatever. And how it depends. We'll see how they cover. Do they run that cover 2?
Yeah.
Deep shell to give everything up underneath. Well, then you might see JSN and Emeka with 10 catches each.
Right.
If they're just trying to take away the outside, but we might also run for 300 yards on them if they do that shit. So,
yeah. All right.
To see Mine and Trey both healthy would be important too.
Yeah. So we covered last week's games at the beginning of the show. Anything big in week 8? Week 8 seems kind of lame to me. I'll run through 4 games here.
I haven't even looked at this week.
I'll tell you right now. You got 18th ranked Syracuse. They're undefeated. At Clemson, also undefeated. Clemson's favored by 13.5. That's a noon game on ABC.
It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, I know. Texas at Oklahoma State. Texas favored by 3.5. That's a 3:30 on ABC. Then you got Mississippi State at Alabama.
Texas favored by 3.5 at Oklahoma State.
Right. Yeah. And Texas is ranked 22.
Why did they have their quarterback go down or something?
No.
No, but Oklahoma State, that game lost a little bit of steam since Oklahoma State lost this weekend. So they're already with 1 loss. So it's not as big of a.
Still at home.
Still, yeah, it's gonna. They say Oklahoma State. They say that D line's got 2 or 3 pros on it. Like Knowles recruited like a hell of a defense there, and they're a lot of those people are still there. So the new D coordinator's kind of stepped in. I think they're running kind of the same offense or same defense that Knowles had. Because he's got the personnel there for it, and he was building a defense there because they talk about there's still pros there.
What else?
That's about it. We don't need to get into anything else because it's K-State at TCU. That's a night game. Yeah. Mississippi State at Alabama. That's a night game.
I like that game.
Will Rogers, that dude can sling it. Oh. And when you know how Texas was on Alabama in that game before Ewers got hurt. Mississippi State will drop bombs on Bama. They're gonna fire a bunch of them. Whether they land them or not, I don't know.
Mississippi State's got a 10% chance of winning that game, and 10%.
I think it's more than 10%. Hey, is that at Alabama, Joe, or at Starkville?
Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bama at night. No, but Mississippi State
after a loss, you think Nick Saban's going back-to-back losses?
Yeah.
If they were on the road at Starkville on Saturday night, I would want to look at that spread and maybe take the points.
Steven has his top 5 is Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan, Tennessee.
Tennessee 5.
Yeah, I don't want to hear Hendon Hooker for Heisman, and I don't want to hear Tennessee ranked number 1.
Not 1. I think they should be 3.
Okay, but People do this recency bullshit, and somebody beats Bama like Texas A&M did last year. All of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh, they should be number one in the country. Their quarterback should be in the top 5 for the Heisman." No, calm down. And Bama lost one game. It happens. It's fucking football. People get nuts.
Well, I'll say this, Joe. You look at Tennessee's resume. Like, they're undefeated. And then they solidified that resume, which was, Pitt on the road, out of conference, beat Florida. They not that they played a great schedule, but considered a lot of top 5, top 10 teams. They played a decent, schedule so far. And then they solidified it with a victory over the dynasty of Alabama. You know what I mean? If you just looking at those other games, they, they beat up some fucking schmoes at the beginning of the season, just like every team has. Their team has a couple of those, your Toledos or whatever. But they also had like that victory over Pitt to open the season. And like I said, Florida's an average SEC team, but an average SEC team is better than 80% of the country. Right. And then they solidified it with a beat over Bama. So I say 3. I say Georgia, us, Tennessee, Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Bama 6. TCU maybe 7.
I think I think Ole Miss has,
and then Ole Miss.
Ole Miss gets to control their own fate.
Sure. They everybody in the West they play the West, so they don't have a crossover with Georgia.
And I'm with you, and I think it could be
Ole Miss playing Georgia this year. I don't have the schedule.
I feel like, if everything goes according to plan, I don't see Ohio State or Michigan losing before we play each other. This is going to be a big game this year. This is boiling. We're only halfway through the season. But they look good. We look good.
It's coming down to it. Michigan hasn't played down to an opponent really bad lately, yet. So, yeah, it's looking like it, isn't it, Joe? We're kind of staring down each other from a distance.
Yeah. Okay. Great show, everybody. Appreciate everybody chiming in, giving their predictions and picks and their microscopes. As always, we appreciate you guys for watching, listening, however you're taking in the show. And keep it locked in here. We will see you next Sunday night, 8 p.m. sharp. Jeff and Sean, thank you.
Take it.
Appreciate you. And
later, bro.
They go Bucks.